What is up, guys? Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and today I'm going to be showing you how I did a turbo K20 swap and full chassis repaint on my girlfriend's MR2 Spyder in one single video. Yes, I could have split this video up in parts or posted videos as I'm actively doing it, but 5 years in the future, when you're watching this video doing your own swap, I don't want you to have to be digging through my channel to find the whole series. So I am making one long video showing the entire process. We are using the Mitchs Auto Parts swap kit, as well as a Haltech 1500 ECU and Wiring Specialties K-swap harness. So it is going to be a full overview on how I did that entire process, as well as blowing up the 1ZZ, pulling the engine out, repainting everything. That honestly took longer than the actual engine swap, and finishing it up to where it looks amazing like this. But without further ado, let's see how slow this thing was stock and misfiring. Taco Bell, hate to see us. Like the 4th day in a row we've ate here at this point.
Are you serious?
Bro, I fucked the transmission already. I can't shift.
I think you were right.
You try. I'm in reverse. Feel the motherfucker. Or I'm coming for your ass, boy.
Oh shit.
You like that?
Look at this dude.
K20 A2 with the 6-speed in the Baja for the MR2.
It honestly just seems like they took it to like, they put like little thread cleaner lines in it.
A little bit more. And the intake fits with, she put the intake on from inside the car. It has been like a week since we touched this, and as you can see, it's got a lot of splatter on it because we finally finished cutting and buffing my Mustang and putting the new 3-piece wheels on. So this is what my Mustang looks like now. We got a car meet we're finna go to today. So I told y'all in the last Mustang video, I'll just randomly put this in a clip. So now it's in the middle of this video. So the Drift Mustang 302 swap is finally looking looking as good as it runs right now. And if you have a keen eye, you will see that we have the same exact wheels, SSR Vienna Schnitz, except hers are actually chromed or polished faces, whereas mine are powder coated silver. You've had these e-brake cables for like 3 or 4 years now, but in order to replace them, you have to drop the fuel tank, and we never felt like doing that, so now is the perfect time for us to install these. They have been sitting underneath that chair the entire ownership of these, and now we're finally going to replace them as they route underneath, and they start right there. So then you replace them, go up under there, swap these out, and we're able to get to the shifter cables because the bracket is up under there too. You may be able to replace it without dropping the tank, but it is super tight and not easy to get to. And then we removed the fuel pump assembly to replace the fuel pump with a 265 liter per hour one. This was a little bit too small, definitely should have done a 450 liter per hour. We reused the O-ring and the little cap from the factory fuel pump, but that ended up not sealing, which you'll see later in the video. This is the Matte Performance slave cylinder hose replacement. And then I started making the exhaust, and I had a few of these tabs in the way. This one was in the way. There was also one on the bumper bar that I got rid of as well, because I got a intercooler that I'm going to mount right in this little bottom channel area. And then more randomness, my girlfriend sold her RSX and bought this Prius, get some nice gas mileage, at the same time that my buddy Justin dropped off his M3 for me to repaint for him, so I knocked that out in a few days. So I had all the projects parked outside next to each other looking hot in the yard, and this is what his car looked like, aired out, all nice and done. I used tape, vice grip, string, everything to mount this intercooler in the proper orientation so I could make some brackets, put some riv nuts in the bumper bar up and down to hold it in place so it's nice and sturdy. The same thing with this resonator. I wanted it to be perfectly lined up in the middle, as well as having this flex flange there. Used a bunch of pie cuts right off the turbo, getting it lined up right in the middle. This exhaust hanger was also in the way, so I had to remove that. I ended up just scooting it over a few inches, and we could get that to come down right out the back. Made this charge piping easy as hell also, just a 90 and a straight. The second side of the charge piping was a little bit more complicated with another tab in the way that I just ripped off. And we got the exhaust fully done. I ended up adding a V-band after the resonator, that way I could take stuff off, and there is the finished charge pipe as well. Moved the exhaust hanger over and welded that in place. Forgot to record this entire thing, but I made a wastegate dump pipe that goes right next to the exhaust exit, so it kind of looks like a dual tip. Added a O2 sensor bung right up top there also. Did a quick test mock-up of the rear bumper, and we can see that the Borla lines up perfectly with that little cutout in the bumper. Need to trim those to fit better, but now we can go ahead and remove all the pieces. So wastegate, back of the exhaust, first charge pipe, second charge pipe, rest of the exhaust. That thing is hard to get out of there. And lastly, the intercooler. Lay it all out. Made all that from scratch by your boy. You already know how it is. I needed the engine hoist to jack the back of the car up. That way I could slide the engine in and out. Here is the cover fully bolted on. I ended up cutting it bigger later in the video. We did some touch up on the engine bay to get it looking better for paint. So I removed seam sealer, started removing the covers and the subframe, everything along those lines. This is some leftover epoxy primer I used to work as a sealer, so I'm sealing everything in the engine bay black for the rest of the paint. Yes, I am not wearing a mask, but this is low VOC, and it's really, you can't really smell it when you're spraying this primer, so I really only wore the mask for the clear coat because it actually did kind of get in my nostrils. Then I used some leftover metallic black from Marcus's Mustang on the subframe and bumper bar, and I let Lena paint it. She did a pretty good job. Got clear coat all over her toes. And boom, that doesn't look too shabby. And this is our first look at her new paint, the Watermelon Lollipop from Tropical Glitz. This stuff was not cheap, so we got to make sure to put it on right the first time. I let her spray the non-important parts, then I went through and touched everything up and got it looking like this. We were a little bit worried. It's a little bit lighter, but then once we sprayed the clear coat on, it started darkening it up. Like, hours went by and it got darker and darker, and it is finally time to start putting the engine together. It's been kind of just bare, so put the water pump back on, put the turbo oil drain fitting back on that didn't fit, so I had to grind the edge of it because it was rubbing on the harmonic balancer. I think it's actually leaking right now, so I need to fix that. This is some heater core hose fitting that we don't need because the heater core is in the front. So there's that one fitting there. And this hose right here, I got a block off valve for that. So don't need that guy anymore. Threw it away. The Map Performance EP3 Pulley Delete. I don't know what it's called anymore, but I have that on my Subaru's K-Series as well. Can finally put the clutch in because we've had the trans made to do it with nothing behind it. So we got a lightweight flywheel from Competition Clutch. And some 6-disc, I don't know what brand this was. Throwout bearing was absolutely torched, so I replaced that. Oh yeah! And get the transmission mounted back on with the half shaft. And here is the completed engine ready to be put back in, except I have to cut this little guy off for the MR2 shifter cables to fit. That guy needed to be removed. Thank God I had Sam here. This is definitely a two-man job. And this is what everything looks like. The fancy black subframe in the freshly painted engine bay. Put the bumper bar back on now too, that way I can jack the back of the car up. This thing gave me so many issues. I could not find anything online. This is the Matt Motorsports Toyota AC compressor on K-Series engine, whatever. So this is how you do it. You just cut that bottom hooks off so you can put that upper plate on, and then the Toyota AC compressor bolts in. I'm going to slow this clip down a little bit so you can see the motor mounts. I'm using the factory motor mounts on the driver, passenger, and rear of the car right off the subframe. You're using the factory motor mounts. Only the front firewall motor mount is swapped out because I did not really go over that. Now we are swapping in the shifter cable thing so you can just kind of visualize what I'm doing right there. To do that, I don't really know how to explain it other than just showing you. There were no instructions. The right shifter cable is going to be the OEM factory one. You are going to replace the middle one that bolts on the bottom of the shifter with this guy. It did not come with this plastic bushing in, so it would not fit. So I was able to pry this bushing out of the old one. I had to flip it upside down to hammer it in, but it doesn't really clip on. But so far it's staying in place so you can see it working. And that guy unscrews and screws back into that mount and goes on the side. And then this guy goes in that other clip. So there's a clip that holds that clip in. And then the AC compressor bolts were too long, so I had to drop the engine back down after getting everything put back in. That way I could slap the Toyota AC compressor back in and bolt it in. The lines weren't really lining up, but I don't know. This is that heater core plug I was talking about. It literally is just held down by friction. There's nothing really holding it in. Very important, the factory Toyota throttle cable will work. You have to put it on the right prongs to go on the left plastic wheel, and it works phenomenal. You need a fuel return line to run this setup because we were using a fuel pressure regulator, so I drilled a hole in the factory fuel assembly to add a 6AN bung. That way I'm able to put a return fuel on. This is that front heater core fitting that I showed you. I went ahead and just welded a plug into it instead of trying to buy one. This is the factory Toyota heater core hose, and it's supposed to tee in to that other fitting if it was on the factory 1ZZ, but I went ahead and welded a plug on that T fitting as well. This is the special size belt that I found that fit because the Toyota AC compressor is lower ribs than everything else, so we're missing a rib. Kind of glanced over this in the video, so I'm going to slow it down to explain it. So off the fuel pump, it goes to that fuel filter. From that fuel filter, it goes into a flex fuel sensor. From that flex fuel sensor, it goes into one side of the fuel rail, and the other side of the fuel rail loops back into the left side of this fuel pressure regulator. The bottom side goes through. I cut a hole into the fuel return on the factory top hat. These 750cc injectors ended up not being quite enough for what we wanted, and they were also a little short, so I 3D printed these slightly larger spacers. That way the fuel injectors can be clamped down properly and they fit snug. I also 3D printed this boost solenoid mount and self-tapped it to the fuse box. This is the factory radiator hose. You have to cut about 4.5 inches out of the middle, and this matte performance connector right in the middle clamps them back together. Haven't had any problems with that. We wanted to try out the Cerakote on the exhaust to kind of clean it up. Later in the video, we ended up just using exhaust wrap because it started flaking off almost immediately. The hole we cut in the firewall was a little bit too small, especially for the alternator hitting it, so I wanted to be able to access the alternator in the future. So with this cut, we can now fully access the alternator, fully access the thermostat housing and lower radiator hose, as well as the starter. So I definitely would have cut it this big from the get-go because I have to remake the plate. And then this cheap little edge trim made it look so much better. And this is what the hole looked like from inside the engine bay, but don't worry, we're going to build a cover to cover that up so you can't see in the car. These are two lower radiator hoses. One is the one recommended in the kit and one is the factory one. I ended up messing this up like 4 times because I kept cutting them too short. I ended up just using the factory lower radiator hose, and you can see they're kind of at a weird angle. You can kind of adjust that with the swivel water neck, but I don't know, it's holding. Make sure to put Teflon tape on these fittings. I did not even check them, and of course they started leaking, but luckily I just got done cutting that hole bigger, so I was able to access them easily. Next, we are doing a battery relocation inside the little cargo area where the evap canister used to go, so I had to motivate the metal with a sledgehammer to get it to fit. And now I'm going to make the cover. Like I said, this video is all over the place. I am so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking when I was recording this. Nothing makes sense, but you can see I made a template. My cat is sitting in the box. Use this fat ass Sharpie to cut this, and I love this air saw. I bought this just for this job, and now I feel like Akira Nakai with RWB just cutting stuff out like this of this rusty sheet of metal. Tried to make it not so rusty by using the flapper disc on it, but it didn't work very well. And now the hole is covered. I'll be painting it black so you can't see how rusty that side is either. Don't worry, we got an AGM battery. We're not going to put a flooded lead acid laying on its side. And then we finally got the wiring Specialties harness back and plugged everything up. Only took about 30 minutes. Everything is plug and play, nothing special, nothing fancy. Wired up the boost solenoid, that's about it. It is so crazy right now. I just want to see what happens. You can put your foot on the gas to try to... I have a feeling everything is not set in properly because I did not do this very well. gonna see me back in front of the camera again because I was just trying to knock it out. I tend to over talk when I am doing stuff like that. So hopefully you understood what happened, but we got the updated harness in the mail. They had accidentally sent a Fuel Tech plug instead of a Haltech plug. So we sent it back to Wiring Specialties. 4 days later, they sent it back. Within an hour and a half of plugging everything up, I downloaded the base tune off my K-Swap Subaru, which is a K24, but apparently they're similar enough. And then I changed the injector size because I have 2100cc on the Impreza, and these are 750, I believe. So that got it to start, and then I was going to try to back it out of the garage for the first time, and I realized I did not bleed the clutch at all. And if you can tell by the mess on the floor, that absolutely sucked, but we got it figured out.
All right, guys, he's only backing it out because I'm too short without the seats. So I literally can't see above the steering wheel.
So pretty much what I'm doing, there's two wires. We have the start signal wire and the ignition positive. So I'm just clamping the ignition positive to the positive post of the battery, and then triggering the starter with this. So I just tap it until it starts and let go. And dies. Found our first leak. This little upper fitting right there, you can see I couldn't really tighten it because it sits right on the housing. I couldn't even get the turbo blanket over it. This was the only 13 millimeter I had that was long enough to actually fit all the way down. And I had to grind the hell out of it, as well as grind the turbo housing. But now, see, that guy fits all the way on, and I snugged it up, so we should be good to go. So as we got that oil situation figured out, moving on to the harness. These are the only two wires left that went into the stock ECU. The other two were for the engine. So that means these go to the body and everything else. So I'm going to start figuring out which wires are what. And if we look at this white one, the fourth wire right here, this blue with like silver, two silver dots, space, two silver dots. This one gets power with key on and when the starter's engaged, because you don't want the ignition positive wire to lose power when the key is turning to start the engine, or else the ECU will turn off and then nothing will happen. So this wire gets power right here, so this will be the ignition positive wire. We tried this with all the pins up there and none of them worked, so I'm going straight to the ignition switch. So the key is not turned right now, and then when they turn the key, boom, light turns on. I have this on the ground of the battery, so that way whenever it gets power, this will turn on. And now we're going to get copyright. It is a solid red wire with two silver dots. There's a red and white striped wire next to it, but it is the solid red wire. So I'm going to have to tee into this and run a wire all the way down under here into there, because for some reason it doesn't go straight to that plug. So this is very fun. I just love recording filler content.
What's wrong with that?
It's hard to record filler content when I'm the only one that takes videos all the time. I can't be like these other channels like Tom's Refurb or Cletus McFarlane, where they have actual people recording the videos for them. I'm the one that has to pick up the camera all the time. So whenever someone else picks up the camera and records me, I can be more natural, you know what I mean? I traced the wire to right here is actually like the top wire, and I have it very easily connected just to make sure before I go through this hassle. So we can see the ECU's on with the ignition positive. So now whenever we like normal, and I'm gonna call her out on her key.
It's been like this for 3 years, 4 years. It
broke off in the ignition.
No. It broke off in here, and we were at a party, and we wanted to make it home, so you shoved it into the ignition.
It's been working for like a year and a half.
No, like more like 3 years.
It works.
Actually, 4. This broke back in 21.
It works. All right, and now I got the one fan wire. Why is this not focused right away? To the 2 power wires on the other fans. Technically, you want 1 relay per fan, but I have it like this on my Impreza, and it's been working just fine for like 2 years now, I think. So it shouldn't be that bad. Bruh. My goal was to make it around the block. So I just want to make it around the block. Alex should come tomorrow to tune it. But I want to get it to
Wait, do it again, do it again.
That's turbo flutter. We don't have a blow off valve.
Could also be running out of gas because I didn't have much left.
It is smoking a lot from the turbo area. I don't know if that's residual or whatnot, but turns out all this fluid on the left was gear oil because the axle popped out. I just popped it back in real quick, but after I saw the puddle get big, I smelt it, and gear oil, extremely easy to identify by smelling it because it smells absolutely horrible. So Marcus bought this smoke leak detector, and it is actually absolutely amazing. I hear hissing. I don't know if it's the turbo, if it's the belts or whatever. So, oh, whoa, there is a hole right there. What the heck? There's literally a hole in the intake. I think that's what I'm hearing. That is strange, but it's probably not going to hiss anymore. But I'm glad that's our only...
He lost it.
I may or may not have left it on the car on that test drive, and it may or may not have fallen off and drove around the block and couldn't find it. Oh, look at how much that's going. And it is brought to you by Diddy Oil. I am using straight Diddy oil in this. It didn't come with any fluid, so now the entire shop smells like Diddy oil. Oh yeah, running a lot better. The RPM's lower, and I hear some whine, but not a whole lot. So we got Mr. Seal tuning this one. He tuned my Subaru after I put the turbo on it, and he tuned my Mustang after I put the 302 in it. So we'll see if he can get Lena's car good off the bat. It started raining. It's not raining anymore, but get that bitch set up. Homeboy don't give a fuck. I took apart damn near this whole fuel system to measure the fuel pressure after everything, assuming that whatever was blocking it off, and I finally went straight off the pump, and it was still reading 14, 12-ish PSI. So what I'm going to do right now is I have once again removed the whole fuel pump. I have it in a dirty bucket of water. I'm going to give the fuel pump power and block this off, the supply port, and see if we're leaking anything outside causing the pressure to drop, or if this brand new pump is actually underperforming. So if we see any fluid coming out of anywhere else, then we know there is a leak somewhere. And would you look at that? We are pissing fluid out, not from the supply. So this cap and O-ring were from the OEM fuel pump, and I just put it on this aftermarket one, but I guess they don't fit into that little hole down there good enough to actually seal this up. We're gonna go full sicko mode with this, completely bypass all this bullshit, try to figure out if we can put a hose on it. Got the first guy up on there, and then this is the piece. I cut the hose off, so now we're gonna heat it up and shove that in there. Oh yeah, look at that. Our new fuel pump where we should have no leaks. Look at how tight this hose fits. We actually had to pull it out with some force, and that actually seals pretty good. So then we'll just lay that down. We got the fuel pump up in there. That's got some pressure. PSI with the vacuum on, vacuum off, it's 45. Alex got it tuned very, very safe, so the car feels very limited still, but it is drivable, so we're going to be able to drive it around just fine. Way underpowered of what it can be, but Lena has yet to even sit in the car with it running in the driver's seat, so she's going to go on a test drive and we're going to see how she reacts to it. Oh, stalled. It's not lagging, that's that.
Oh, it's the safety?
It's what I was talking about, where it feels like
Okay, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
that's what he couldn't really figure out how to get rid of. God, that hurt. I've seen cars do that before, but they did not blow your ears out. Jesus. All right, a few days later, I got this all nice and cleaned up. Now that I have gotten everything that I need for the most part, I left this easily accessible, and then I shoved everything behind this stock bracket and up over here. Zip tied that out of the way, made a little mount. Can barely see the self-tapper, a little angle. I took a piece of metal and bent it. So I have a self-tapper there. So now this is nice and stable. I cut these studs down, as you can see. Remade this plate to be quite a bit thicker and not look so rough. And this is the factory interior tray. And I had to do a little bit of trimming on the back right there to get it to fit. So this is what it looks like. Got nice space, and it's perfect because the Haltech plug, just like that, so now we can keep this plugged in and be able to unplug it if we want to. And then this is the other auxiliary plug, as I have all the wires kind of tucked up in there, and I am using one of the outputs. You can see the white and black one. It doesn't matter which one you use. Routed that to the clutch switch. So I have it to one side of the clutch switch, and the other side of the clutch switch needed 12 volts. So I tapped into some random wire I found that gets 12 volts with key on. So, and then I put that into the Haltech. So now when the clutch is down and it engages this switch, it engages the launch control, which is what that last clip was earlier. Now we went ahead and got every single panel unwrapped, and it left a nice sticky mess behind. So we're gonna have to worry about that later. But y'all are probably thinking, oh, you have the battery hidden underneath here. How are you going to jump start it or get power from it or yada yada without taking everything apart? This is a remote battery terminal that is going to be placed probably right here in the engine bay, and it gets covered up. So I take the wire, I go from here, and I'm going to route it with that to the positive terminal, and then that should be the last thing going to the battery. We have this thing all torn apart because we're about to paint the outside of it. We've had this car maybe 4 years, and we have never cleaned the frunk. So this is going to be the first time cleaning the frunk. So several years of dirt and grime. Well, y'all are gonna love this because I absolutely did not record anything, and right now this is what it looks like. So I just got done doing the jams. That's part of the reason why we cleaned the frunk. I did a half-ass tape off. I used foil. I don't really care about overspray. I just wanted it to look somewhat presentable just in case we do a frunk setup. We're not sure if we want to do that later on in the future, but I figured we might as well try. So some of the stuff is getting overspray, but the important stuff kind of isn't. And even then, it's kind of cool. It looks like rose gold almost. And this is what it looks like after spraying the clear coat. As you can see, it darkens it way down, which is not what you would expect, but it completely transforms the color to make it darker. So got everything taken apart, open it back up, and boom. Look at how good she looks. First time in a while this car has not been completely covered in dust. And honestly, the matte black and pink door trim combo doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's obviously not going to stay like this, but for it being somewhat presentable, I think this is doable. Got the trailer pulled up, got the car cleaned up and ready to be loaded quite a bit prematurely. See if it wants to start right up or not. Woo! Like factory, brother. I need to fix this trailer situation because you can't open the door, and we can close the soft top, but it's not going to be a perfect. You have to open the. You're driving down the highway and see this. What are you thinking? Thinking it's going to a body shop, gonna get dyno tuned, fresh barn find Facebook Marketplace purchase? I'm not sure, but you got to have a keen eye be able to look up in there and see that. And I also just finished my facelift cat eye. So I did a cat eye swap and a facelift cat eye swap. So I got the little ridge and the HD grill, ranch hand bumper. One of the big heavy duty bumper has KC fog lights on it. My truck looking like a 2006 now instead of a 2002. And now we wait for tomorrow morning. MR2's first time on a trailer to get dyno tuned, brother. Officially on the way to the dyno tune in the morning. We're a little bit late, running like 15 minutes behind, but it's not a big deal. They don't really care, so let's go. Hell yeah. And we go in right there. I thought this engine bay was hard to work in. But look at this little Mini Cooper. Was that like a D16, D15B something? Turboed, air to water intercooler. It's got the radiator. I don't know what that cooler is. That thing is a tight package. If you come in here, it's a nice little ECU display also, but this makes ours look like nothing comparatively. You're not able to access anything. Look at that baby ass turbo on this Miata. Baby turbo. Car is on the dyno. They are not quite ready to run it. Still doing the setup, but we are in here. How much horsepower do you think it's gonna make?
I don't know. 3? No mommy. You guys got the truck and trailer, and my AC's blasting, so the camera's fogging. But now she's back home, all 410 horsepower. All right, Lena's first drive just pulled up back at the house. Let's see how this goes. Sorry for the fogginess. Something just fell off the car, my glasses flew back. It ain't nothing. That boost kicks on and then you fucking scoot. Oh, we lost traction. What are you doing over here, blood? Wait, oh no, this came from the engine bay. What are you doing there, brother? We are making our daily Taco Bell run the day after the dyno. So we got Sam whipping the Prius and Lena in the MR2. So we're gonna take some rollers of her on the way to Taco Bell and then get some rollers of me driving it a little erratically on the way back from Taco Bell. It is finally the last paint day, and we once again 81% humidity, 83 degrees, so I have the propane heater on, which keeps turning off the outside of the car, the hood and the front cover, engine cover, whatever, clear coat on the taillights and headlights, custom fiberglass eyelids, and I'm going to just experiment on this. I ran it and then I sanded the runs out and it left a weird hue, so I'm going to see if I can spot spray that. Got the full car in base coat. Almost ran out of paint. Luckily we did not. We were able to get full coverage on everything. Bada boom. And then we did the A-pillar black, and we used the same mixing cup and spray cup that we sprayed the base in. That way it got it a little bit more tinted, just a tiny bit of pink clear coat when we sprayed it on, and it had some gold flake in it. So this black got some gold flake in it, which we weren't trying to do, but I don't hate it. I actually like it. I think I prefer that better. So now the black soft top and the black A-pillar kind of makes the car look a little sleeker, because only the here down is going to be pink. And GAT is in about 22 days or so, so we got just enough time to have everything knocked out. The finishing touch, she was waiting until the car was fully done to install this shift knob that I bought for her several months ago, and it is finally that time. Put the little charm on it.
It's already on there.
Finishing it up with the likewise heart shift knob. And she got these little heart blind spot mirrors. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. I can't record it without my shadow being in the way. And just like that, guys, thank you so much for watching this extremely long video, because I did not plan on doing the body work at the same time, but the engine swap and everything going on at the same time for this deadline, which is in 13 days, I believe, is when we are leaving. to go to Gatlinburg, so hopefully I have this video edited and uploaded before then. So anyways, hopefully you got something from this video, watched all the way through and understood, and we will see y'all in Gatlinburg 2025. Thank you so much for watching. Follow my Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, everything under that username right there, and motherfucking peace!